Hi there, Chris, Jumping the Cat Motolegends. Today we're going to be talking about a new suit from the German brand Held. It's an adventure suit. It's called the Carese Evo and the Torno Evo. This is a new adventure suit from the German brand Held, new for 2021. The top half is called the Carese Evo, the bottom half the Torno Evo. It has been in the range in some ways for many years. This is just the latest iteration. It's an upgrade on the suit that Held have done, as I mentioned, for a while. It is what we would term a proper, serious off-road suit, by which we mean that it has a removable waterproof membrane. Our friends at Klim in America have managed to convince a swathe of riders that what you want in a proper adventure suit is a Gore-tex 3-layer laminated shell. Our view is absolutely not. If you are riding somewhere that's very hot, which is where you might expect to go with an adventure suit, so if you were crossing a desert or if you were riding hard off-road on the trails and you are generating your own heat, the last thing you want anywhere near your body is a waterproof membrane. And that's for two reasons. First is a waterproof membrane is a windproof membrane. That's going to stop cool air reaching the body and cooling you down. But the second thing is that that membrane is going to prevent the body from cooling itself down. What happens when we get hot? We sweat. So water comes to the surface of the skin. It turns from a liquid state into a vapor state. As it does that, that requires energy. That pulls energy out of the body. That's what cools us down. But if you've got a membrane there, that vapor's not going to be able to escape anywhere near efficiently enough. And what's going to happen? You're going to end up with a wet layer inside the membrane, and that means that that water is not turning to gas. You're not going to get cool, you're just going to get wet. So it is important in an adventure suit, in a proper adventure suit in our book, to have a removable waterproof membrane. This outfit the chassis is made from a 500 denier Cordura. That's a perfectly acceptable weight. You can get heavier weights, and a high-end touring or commuting suit might have 650, 750, even 800. But the material you want in a suit like this, it's a trade-off. It's a bit of a compromise between safety on the road and flexibility and lightness when you're off-road. So we think 500 denier is perfectly acceptable. This suit still measures up at the AA level under EN 17092, so that's pretty impressive. I don't think there's a trade-off in safety, but it's just a lighter fabric is going to be far more appropriate on a suit like this. The other requirement on an adventure suit, on a proper adventure off-road suit, is that it has a large amount of vents, and I have not come across a single jacket ever that has more or better venting than the Carese Evo. Let me talk through them, and I'm going to hope that I manage to remember them all. Main ones here are these pockets. So these are pockets. When it's not hot, you can put things in these pockets. They are designed to be used as proper pockets. But when it's hot, you zip them down and you reveal this 3D piping. We've seen this piping in the Stadler Supervent jacket, and what it does, as air hits this, it doesn't just land flat there and go nowhere. This piping is uncrushable. It's got holes in it all the way up and down. So as air comes in, it forces that air, in this case, up the jacket towards the shoulders and down towards the tummy. So it's a great way of distributing cool air as it hits the body. Other things, we've got full length zips up the flanks here that you can open up, obviously, to allow air in when it's hot. We have full length zips here up the sleeves. So you can do that any way you want, but big air vents there. On the back of the jacket, we have a vent all the way across between the shoulders, but we also have vertical vents, zippable vents up and down each shoulder. So lots of vents, but this jacket hasn't finished yet. What we have here, down either side of the storm flap, are two long mesh vents. These are permanently open. Now, you might say, is that not going to make the jacket cold? And yes, it will do. But remember, this is not a jacket that's designed for British weather necessarily. It's not designed for winter commuting. If you've got your waterproof on underneath it, that will protect you from the wind chill, but this jacket's all about getting air in. So that's a nice little touch. Clearly Held have looked at this and gone, where can we use on the jacket to get more air into the body? But there's another one. This is really neat. So The storm flap folds over. It secures all up and down with magnets. There's a little clip there for the collar itself. And then this panel up here, that's also a mesh vent. So overall, this jacket I think is amazing. I've never come across anything that has anywhere near this amount of paneling and flaps and areas for air to pass through. The other thing that we've mentioned that is necessary in a off-road jacket or in an adventure jacket is a removable waterproof membrane. Now clearly that's what this jacket has, but it's a particularly noteworthy membrane in a couple of regards. Firstly, it's a Gore-tex membrane. Not going to get into that too much here, but there are people who feel that Gore-tex is overpriced and some people will never buy anything unless it has Gore-tex. Gore-tex is a fantastic membrane. And I think it's reassuring when you buy a jacket. If somebody puts a Gore-tex membrane in, what it tells you is that that jacket has been checked by Gore-tex, that Gore will not put their name to something unless they know it's been properly made. So I think it's just a reassurance that when you've got something with Gore-tex, you know that it's been properly put together. But there is another trick to this membrane. It can be worn inside or outside. And we think that that is very clever and it's just perfect. In our view, there's probably a scenario where if you know that you're going to be on the road for half an hour, 45 minutes and it's spitting with rain, you would leave the waterproof on the inside. It'll do a job. The outside of the jacket will get a little bit wet, but presumably it'll dry out fairly swiftly. If, however, you find yourself having to face a journey of 2, 3, 4 hours and it is going to bucket down, then you just take that waterproof, you put it on outside the jacket. And the reason you would do that is it's going to prevent the material from wetting out. So you've almost created, in some ways, a laminate jacket, because when you arrive at your destination, you can take the waterproof off the outside. This is going to be perfectly dry. So it's a very clever solution. I've heard of other people using it, but here it works. The waterproof on the inside has stretch built into it, so it's very comfortable. It will easily go over the jacket. It works incredibly well. Let's talk about some of the other features. Armour and protection. We've got here on the shoulders and the elbows, we've got panels of super fabric. Again, that's a premium quality anti-abrasion material, and it's good to know whenever you buy a jacket that has got super fabric, you know somebody's trying to produce a jacket at the very highest end. Held tell us that this super fabric is laid over a panel of ripstop. To us, that just doesn't make any sense, because ripstop is a material that's very hard to tear, but this is never going to tear, so I actually doubt that that is the case. The armour in the jacket is D3O, so it's the vented D3O here in the shoulders and here in the elbows. There's a pocket for a back protector, but that doesn't come supplied as standard, but it'll just take a standard D3O back protector. They also have pockets in this jacket for rib protectors. Again, they're D3O rib protectors. I've not seen that on many jackets, but I suppose if you're going off-road and when you're riding off-road, there's a greater chance of falling over and damaging your ribs and so on. That's a nice little feature to have. In terms of adjusters, we've got lots. We've got this collar adjuster. As we've already seen, that will clip back there, but we have a fairly long Velcro strip here that's going to enable you to tighten or loosen the neck collar. Here, in the waist, we've got elasticated straps that fasten with Velcro. This is, I think, a massively important thing on a motorcycle jacket, because we're not all the same size. Some people are very thin, some people have got a little bit of girth. It's nice to be able to use these straps, elasticated straps, to make the jacket into its best possible size. It's also useful if you're putting extra layers underneath here. So let's say you're putting underneath here some kind of duvet style jacket, you're going to want to let the jacket out. So I think those central adjusters here at the waist are very important. In terms of comfort, because that's what we're talking about here, comfort and adjusters, we have Gore-tex stretch panels under the arm, just another thing that contributes towards this jacket feeling very comfortable. Here on the elbows we have concertina stretch panels. Again, the same thing. It means that you can articulate your arms very easily. Here on either side, these are actually the flank zips for vents, but what you can do, you can just undo the bottom bit, and what that's going to enable you to do is, as you sit on the jacket, it will allow the jacket to just splay a little bit. Pockets. We've got these two pockets here. I've mentioned those already. They are pockets. You can use them as pockets. They're clearly not going to be waterproof. These two pockets are technically waterproof. Personally, even though they may be lined with Gore-tex, my view would be that if you want to keep something absolutely dry, you put it on the inside. But these pockets have proper flaps on them. They should be dry, but if I had a passport or something that I really wanted to look after, I'd put it inside. There is an inside wallet pocket, and there's also one for a device. At the back of the jacket, there is a side entry document pocket as well. So that's the jacket, the Carese Evo. I think it's a work of art if you're looking for something that is going to deliver protection, but huge amounts of air for when you're getting really hot. I just think it's a fabulous jacket. I think I've been pretty clear about this. In our view, this is a proper off-road come adventure outfit. It is not designed for winter commuting. But a suit like this, if you judiciously add the right components to it, you can turn this into an outfit that really could be worn 12 months of the year in all conditions, and it would give you the very best solution. So if you want one suit, if you just wanted to buy one suit and wear that same suit in all conditions, this is the kind of suit that you start with. Now, we've mentioned already that there's a Gore-tex jacket inside. That is going to keep you dry. You can put it on the outside, but if we were being doubly cautious, if we wanted this to work in the heaviest rain, I think we might be tempted to just make another little investment. We would put the Gore-tex jacket on the inside, and then we would wear a Scott laminated waterproof on the outside. That is then going to give you the ultimate solution in terms of waterproofing, because you'll have two layers of waterproofing, one on the outside, one on the inside. This is never going to wet out. You will also, coincidentally, because you've got two waterproof membranes, you'll have made the suit much warmer, because obviously every waterproof membrane is also a windproof membrane. So you can turn this suit into something that's going to be excellent in whatever the skies want to throw at you in terms of rain. But you then need to do something about the thermal component, because there's no thermal component here. It is not, as it comes out of the bag as it were, it is not a warm suit. And I have to admit that when I was doing research on this suit, I went onto YouTube and I watched some of the reviews of this, and I was quite disappointed. There was a guy, unfortunately he was here in the UK, he bought one of these suits from his local motorcycle store and decided to do his own test on it, which he then put up on YouTube. He rode down the road in it, came back and said, "Don't buy this suit, it is rubbish, it's nowhere near warm enough." Well, unfortunately that guy just had not a clue what he was testing. This suit was never designed to be warm, and anyone who jumps on this on a cold day, rides down the road and expects it to be warm, they just don't know, I'm afraid, what they're on about. But if you put an appropriate mid-layer, a warm mid-layer in this, there's no reason why it can't be as warm as the best jacket from Rucker. What we would be doing, I think, is putting in something like the Klim Maverick jacket or the Down X from Rucker. They both have a similar set of ingredients, a 90% goose down, 10% goose feathers in the Maverick. In the Rucker, it's 90% duck down and 10% duck feathers. They are both incredibly warm, and they will go underneath this very easily, and then you will have a suit that potentially does absolutely everything you want. Let me just explain that, because this suit in its current form, or let's say you just take the waterproof out, if you wanted to commute in this suit, you would take the waterproof out, and on the hottest day in the middle of summer, you would have the best suit out there, because it's going to flow air through all of these panels. It would be a dream to ride in on those hottest days. When it rains, you put the waterproof on the inside, and maybe if you take our view, you put the Scott on the outside. You will then have the ultimate waterproofing solution. This will never wet out. It will always stay bone dry. If you then put the thermal underneath it, then you've got a suit that's going to work in the cold as well. You can't take a Rucker suit and do that, because if you start with a Rucker suit, you will never make it breathable, because that Rucker suit, and accepting a suit like the Orivesi, which is also an off-road suit, but if we take something like the Nivala or the Kingsley, you will never make that work in hot weather, because it will never vent, because it's got a laminated membrane. But because this starts as a well-vented jacket, by putting the waterproof element and the thermal element on, you can make this a perfect suit that you honestly could ride 365 days a year in. I think I would just say one thing: if you're going to do that, if that's what you want to do, if you're someone who commutes, ride all year round, don't go and buy the white version. This is fantastic. It is white in colour, and it's designed for adventure riders who are riding in hot conditions. You don't want black, because that's going to absorb the sunlight and make you hot. But if you were going to use this as a commuting suit, as a starting point for a commuting suit, then I think you'd go for the black version, because in truth, if you were to commute from somewhere like here in Guildford to London every day, it would just be ruined in a matter of weeks. Overall, our feeling is that this is a brilliant suit. We're going to come on and talk about the trousers in a minute, but this is in some ways the best adventure suit we've ever come across. We haven't been working with the German brand Held for long. We took on some gloves last year. We're taking on 2 or 3 suits this year. But I have to say that everything we look at from Held, and I suppose we are only cherry picking the things we really like, but what we're seeing is very impressive. We love the way it's put together. We love the thinking behind their gear. We love the components they use. This looks to us as though it's going to be one of the industry's best kept secrets. What we're going to do now, we're going to take a look at the trousers in a little bit more detail. They are similar to the jacket in many ways, the same kind of construction, but we'll look at them in a little bit more detail. But before we do that, we're going to use our new 360-degree rotating machine so you can get a closer look and see all the way around the jacket. So Zebedee, if you don't mind, take it away. Let's talk now about the pant, the Torno Evo, the bottom half of the suit, the Carese Evo being the top half, obviously. The pant's been put together with totally the same philosophy, with a lot of the same components, with the same construction, but importantly, with the same attention to detail. And we'll talk through that detail, but again, very impressive. One of our issues often with motorcycle clothing manufacturers is they put all of their effort and energies into the jacket, full of bells and whistles, everyone's had an input into it, jacket's very fancy, and then they're so exhausted, they've got no energy left that they just throw in a pair of trousers afterwards as a kind of an afterthought. That's not the case here. These trousers are fantastic. They've got all of the bells and whistles that you could ever want. Material is a Cordura 500, the same as the jacket. The liner, the waterproof liner, removable waterproof liner, is Gore-tex again, and as it is with the jacket, it can be worn on the inside or the outside. For comfort, because these are a very comfortable pant, and that's what you need if you're riding off-road, because you're going to be moving around on the bike a lot. You need flexibility, so an easy-to-wear pair of trousers is massively important. You just can't ride off-road with a touring and commuting suit. It just doesn't work. But what we have here in the crotch, we have Gore-tex stretch. Gore-tex stretch is fabulous. It's a 4-way stretch, totally waterproof, just makes the trousers much easier to live with. You've got the same here behind the knees. We've got an adjuster belt here. It's elasticated with Velcro straps on either side, so that's going to enable you to just pull the trousers in and loose them off as you see fit. At the bottom of the trousers, we've got 2 straps. Often see 1 strap, but Held just seems to want to do things to a slightly higher level, so we've got 2 retaining straps that are just going to keep these trouser legs tight around the boots. We've got a full-length zip here, but what's interesting, and again, a nice touch, it sounds as though I'm a little bit effusive about Held, and I must admit I am impressed by their gear, but this zip here, not only does it raise up to allow you to put a boot inside, but it can then, once it's open, it can be opened from the top to be used as a vent, because as we've discussed, this is all about airflow. Here, we've got, on the side, we've got cargo pockets here and here. Rather like the breast pockets on the jacket, these can be undone. They're mesh panels. That's going to allow air to flow. Here at the top, we have 2 ordinary pockets. In terms of protection, we have, I don't know why I'm looking up there because we're talking about the trousers. We have D3O in the hips and the knees. We also have the option to fit, if you're worried about landing and damaging the lower part of your spine, you can also fit, we have it on the website, but you can fit an optional coccyx protector. For abrasion resistance, we have this super fabric here on the knees. Mention that on the shoulders of the jacket. You can't see the shoulders of the jacket, but I mentioned that I didn't think there was ripstop fabric there, but there is here on the trousers. That's certainly a ripstop underneath here, underneath the super fabric panel. We've also got these concertina stretch panels. I didn't mention those, but again, this is all about aiding comfort. You've got a layer of leather here up the legs. Now that's the kind of protection. It's protection from the heat of an exhaust at times, but it's also to enable you, if you are off-road, to grip the tank better. There's also an area of kangaroo leather in the bum. Again, that's just kind of protection. That will also stop you sliding around on the bike. Other details, there's a lining in this, and I did not mention it. I'm sorry, I did not mention it when I was talking about the jacket, but part of the lining in this is what's called 37.5. It's kind of an Outlast. It works in a different way to Outlast. It doesn't have paraffin molecules, but it's a temperature regulating device. It's not throughout the trousers, but again, the idea is that when it's cold, it will keep you a little bit warmer. When it's warm, it will cool you down. In fact, it works on the basis of the level of moisture rather than paraffin molecules, but it does work. The other thing you get with this is brace buttons. We like braces. We think it's a great way of keeping your trousers up. When you're riding around, obviously there's a connecting zip between the jacket and the trousers, so often you'll be connected, but if for whatever reason you don't want to, or perhaps it's when you get off the bike, you unconnect the jacket, you don't want your trousers falling down, so we think there's a case for always wearing braces. We also have some areas across the pants of Scotch-Light reflective. Again, sorry, I don't think I'm doing my job very well today. There are some areas of Scotch-Light reflective on the jacket as well. So that's it. That's the Carese Evo and Torno Evo. An absolutely amazing, proper adventure suit. So that was the Carese Evo and Torno Evo combination, a fabulous adventure suit. The top half, the Carese Evo, is priced at £740. It comes in a long size and it comes in a tummy size. The pants, the Torno Evo, come in at £580. They come in 3 different configurations. They come in a long leg, they come in a short leg, and they come in a tummy configuration. Both halves run from a small all the way up to 6XL. And once again, we've not come across really any other outfit from anyone that has quite such a wide range of sizes. Anyway, if you'd like to see more Held gear or perhaps more off-road adventure gear, then visit the website motolegends.com. If you'd like to learn more about the Carese Evo and the Torno Evo, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you directly to the relevant page on the website. There you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, you can check availability, and obviously if you really like the suit, you can buy it there and then. When you do buy from us, we try to make the process simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protected wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something. We have the best price promise in the business. John Lewis is rightly famed, or rather was rightly famed, for its never knowingly undersold price promise. We go one stage better. If you can find anyone selling anything that is cheaper than us, we will beat that retailer by a full 10%. If the retailer is in the EU and not in the UK, we will match their landed price. There are a few terms and conditions, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you visit the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. Now, we're recording this in early 2021. In 2020, we gave away to a YouTube subscriber a Mutt 125cc motorbike. We had customized it a wee bit to make it look like a Steve McQueen desert sled. This year we're going up market a wee bit. We're going to be giving away this year, just before Christmas, we're going to be giving away a 250cc Caballero or Fantic Caballero Scrambler. It's a fabulous bike, but we're not going to be giving it away this year to a YouTube subscriber. We're going to be giving it away to somebody who follows us on Facebook. So if you'd like a chance of winning that bike, then go over to our Facebook page and clearly follow us. I'd like to finish with a play for our little shop here at Motolegends. We are based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station. And as I say, it's a little shop. It has a small footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £2 million worth of merchandise arranged over 3 floors. That technically makes this the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the UK. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're all about service, we're all about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. Now, when you come to see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of Sean's mum's delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.